We are live. This is the market update. This is the nuke market update. What's getting nuked? Is it the crypto market? Is it something over there? Yeah, you're right. They're talking about it. And you know what? Honestly, you got told. You know, Alex Jones said it right before the stream started. And frankly, Tucker Carlson told you 2 days ago. The only definitive, remember this, definitive end? The only definitive end is kaboom. Okay, so that's lovely. And then you have the North Koreans hacking everybody, which is just causing, sell pressure because no one wants to get their crypto drained out. So they're just selling. And here we are. So we got the N word, as in the nuke, and we got hackers after everybody, and we have a stock market that can just blow up. That is the nuke triple threat, because frequently what crypto does is crypto goes down in advance of a problem in equities, which could also mean a problem, honestly, with banks. Yes, believe it or not, because it's amazing how the Federal Reserve was like, we're not raising rate, we're not lowering rates. And then 2 days later, somebody comes out and goes, at the July meeting, we may cut rates, which was conveniently right after the Swiss National Bank cuts rates. So, banks, problemo, the Fed cutting rates, out of nowhere? Or maybe the Fed's cutting out of nowhere because we got a nuke problem somewhere in this equation. And then everybody and their brother is getting hacked. I mean, one guy actually got hacked, and one guy was like, two guys I used to work with at another company who are basically geniuses. One guy got hit with this. The North Koreans are everywhere, and it could also be the Iranians, and they're blaming the North Koreans because the Iranians have a massive cyber capability. So, yeah. Play around and find out. If you want to know why crypto is down, that's a hint. If you want to see the charts and the rest of the news along with what's going on in crypto, including the good news that they're ignoring. Now, this show is brought to you by my Patreon and the YouTube member area, where we have discussed, particularly since I gave this report to both the Patreon Platinum group, which is right here, and, the 6th Street Crypto guys got this. It's called Report Light, 99K. I thought it was crazy when I published it, that you could get a dip to that zone before this thing turns around and goes crazy on the upside. Like, this is your golden dip that Toby talked about a week ago. It's the golden dip. Let's welcome who's here. We have Art, oh my God, from the Amsterdam airport. Welcome, sir. Thomas, right? Hiru Hotep. Market usually corrects around expiration. Yes, today was the biggest options expiration in the history of equities, plus an options expiration for crypto. So if anybody has to do hedges or protect themselves, they're putting those hedges on right now before the weekend. We will talk about this weekend and about this mysterious 2-week deadline and what that means for the whole nuke situation. Felix is tired of these dumps and he's hurting. Sir, I get that. And this market is going to force people out right before it turns. Right before it turns. Suncatcher Hawaii, a member. Welcome, sir. Wen Lambo. Notorious Love. Thank you. Ariana, Huckleberry Native, a member for 6 months. Welcome, sir. Find out now 7. Wrong again. Pancakes and peanut butter. Welcome. Indie Rock Crypto. Lee J. DC Precise. All my homies. News. Let's go. Okay, so watch out, right? Orange Man said, I want a definitive end. Bunker buster, not definitive. Not definitive. Okay. Putin says whatever we're going to do could have massive, long-lasting consequences. Bunker buster bomb doesn't have long-lasting consequences. A bunker buster bomb doesn't work. So what has long-lasting consequences? Putin's got 600 scientists supposedly in that building, and he won't remove them. Trying to increase the stakes. Why? So we don't use the nuke. Or, remember the commando raids? Right? Remember this? We're going to send in commandos, right? Submachine guns and face paint like the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. We're going to blow up a whole underground nuclear facility with commandos. Set charges. It's 300 feet underground. How does that work exactly? Yeah. It's called a suitcase nuke. Right? You don't have to take out the area. You just contaminate it. You don't think this can happen? I'm going to show you that it can happen. Well, Alex Jones is out. Again, he must watch the show. Okay, so here we have the Orange Man. We have planes that are undetectable flying around. Nobody's able to see them. Stealth. Linda Carter, right? The original Wonder Woman. Says, she used to fly the invisible jet as Wonder Woman and says, those planes are not mine. Right? That's because Wonder Woman's jet doesn't carry a nuke. So whether he does it or not, this is going to get priced in the capital markets. Right? Because again, Alex Jones just said it and he has 4 million viewers. Okay, Alex Jones and Steve Bannon issue emergency alert. Okay, so these guys talked to the White House. They supposedly gave the president an intelligence briefing, as if the president doesn't have the right intelligence. Of course he does. Of course he does. Now, are they telling him everything? I don't know. But I'm guessing these guys were at the White House to check what the base would feel like if A, B, and C happened. Because, you have an official MAGA civil war. Nobody is particularly happy with what's going on with Israel. Nobody wants a new war, and everyone's all wound up about it. Meanwhile, the Orange Man is not happy. He's not getting any deals done in Eastern Europe. The tariff thing was a disaster, right? Those tariff delays are due to come off in a week. So how's it going? No one's paying attention to the Orange Man. No one's doing things his way. So how do you get everybody to see it your way when you're the godfather? What do? You do something dramatic or talk about doing something dramatic, right? Come to the table or it's the bomb. Now, again, we making this up? I mean, Alex Jones just said it, so it kind of ruined it. But Tucker, whose dad was in charge of propaganda in the intelligence community, sarcastically floats nuking Iran if they actually tried to hurt the president. Wow, really? We're going to go nuking people just out of nowhere, huh, Tucker? I don't think so. I think it was on the drawing board the whole time. It's on the drawing board the whole time. Right? Now, all of a sudden, it's like, oh, my God. Alex Jones this afternoon. Oh, my God. Turns out Iran does have material for a nuke. Oh, my God. It turns out clear and present danger. Oh, my God. Yeah, okay, whatever. A definitive end. That's what they want. Okay, so you can read up on Chernobyl if you want. What happens if they actually blow up the reactor? Cheery stuff. Okay, so the Iranians just got hit with an earthquake. Okay, and we have, supposedly we have tectonic weapons. Cheery stuff, huh? Man-made earthquakes. So remember F around and find out? Remember those tweets with the gangster hat? So this is a sarcastic left-wing cartoon. And it shows the Orange Man is not happy and he's going to do what's best for him. So we all know that Israel's going to wind up trying to take out that reactor one way or the other. They kind of forced us into this. At least that's what it looks like. And you don't know where the truth is because the first casualty in war is the truth. However, he told you we want a definitive end. We're flying around Wonder Woman's invisible jet with a tactical nuke attached. And you know that because Tucker told you. The intelligence agencies told you that through Tucker. It's not a secret. It's in the New York Post. And amazingly, equities are not down. And oil, I think, is still in a state of denial that this won't happen. Fine. I hope it doesn't happen for the sake of crypto. And I hope this is the golden dip. Because the probabilities of this happening, yeah. But it's on the table. And he's going to look at the arrays. I know he's already told the Russians, right? And I know the Chinese know about it. Because you got plane loads of what landing over there. That's a fact. Chinese sent plane loads of what? Of what? Anti-aircraft missiles, nuclear cleanup gear, what? Not a word about it, right? They know what those guys eat for breakfast, but they don't know what came out of the Chinese planes. Are you kidding? Come on. Okay, so that's cheery, right? More cheery stuff. Uncle Sugar has got $37 trillion in debt, right? I like my sugar with coffee and cream. We got stable coins. We got allowing banks to have less capital. We'll go over the folly of that because whatever's going on here, the actual deterrent to nukes and all that stuff may be any type of disturbance in financial markets and what that could do to like fragile banks. Right? In other words, if oil goes crazy or gold goes crazy or the stock market goes crazy and somebody's already got a bad derivatives position, what happens? This is the case for crypto, by the way, in case you're getting depressed, right? Normally, really big rallies can be preceded by really big pukes. Everyone knows this should go up because we got to get outside the system because of Uncle Sugar and, whoever is making the decisions about this war or whoever's got influence in Washington. And you can watch all the videos you want, but this is all crypto positive. Because frankly, this is embarrassing in many ways, right? I mean, like it feels like everybody is lying. And if everybody is lying, then we got to buy crypto. Not to mention the fact that they're going to be running stable coins. I mean, SEI is already mooning, right? This whole layer one trade. Like there are small mid-cap layer ones that we were talking about yesterday on the YouTube member podcast. Dude, the stable coin layer one game is wide open. Wide open. And we're going to discuss the impact on ETH. So, yeah, they can smack this thing. There can be a nuke rumor. There can be all this stuff. At the end of the day, hacks. At the end of the day, this is all going to wind up positive crypto. The only question is, what are they going to do? It's the summer solstice. This should be a turn. But how hard can they smack it first over the weekend? Plus this 2-week deadline, right? Like what happens at the end of the 2 weeks? What happened at the end of the 60-day period last time, right? The Israelis launched at 60 days and 1 minute. What happens in 2 weeks? I don't know. First it was 2 days, then it was 2 weeks. Now we're back to 2 days, right? They smashed this thing. It could be the buy of a lifetime because they're stupid. Now, this is not being talked about, and I'm talking about it. Switzerland enters an era of zero interest rates. Swiss National Bank cuts rates to zero. Now, on one hand, it's pretty simple. The whole world is selling the dollar and buying Swiss francs and parking their money over there. So, interest rates are the price of money. Money floods in. Too much money. Rates go to zero. That's one way to look at it. The other way to look at it is there's a problem with UBS. 3 Swiss banks back in the day. The one I worked for was Swiss Bank Corp. Huge. So UBS has the logo of the 3 keys. They got that from buying Swiss Bank Corp, and that was their logo. That was way back. Then recently, the Swiss National Bank, the Fed, and every central bank on the planet told UBS that they were going to buy the other Swiss bank, Credit Suisse, because Credit Suisse was insolvent because of massive derivative debts or whatever problem they had, commercial real estate, who knows. UBS got told, you're buying Credit Suisse. Now, they may have paid zero, but all that sludge is now on UBS's books. So all the world's money flowing into a banking system that could have a problem. The Swiss National Bank freaks out and cuts rates to zero. Like zero. Whoever can read and understand a bank financial statement is worried. You think I'm joking, right? Oh, the Federal Reserve is cutting rates at the July meeting. What do you know? Deep state boys getting what they want overseas. Deep state boys go, Orange Man, cooperate, you get rate cuts. Or Fed gets called from Swiss National Bank and goes, guys, we have a problem. Like Just Dario on Twitter knows we have a problem. You don't think central banks know we have a problem? Like this is the moonshot in crypto, right? You get some kind of wacko move in oil or some kind of wacko move in equities, and that makes somebody or there creates a legacy disturbance. You know, crypto goes, whoop, zoom on that. Just dealing with the whoop, zoom is difficult, right? Like anything worth doing is difficult. Now, stonks. I don't know how they do this. I don't know. Maybe the Fed is in doing this. How do they levitate this thing up here? This is NASDAQ, right? NASDAQ is at its premium zone, right? The AI bubble is an emotional bubble, right? $100 million to scientists, $20 billion at a clip for data centers and electricity. Just, you know, Microsoft laying off 8,000 people, either because the OpenAI thing is not profitable or they're trying to FOMO into this data center thing. Boys getting a little emotional over there. A little. At the premium zone with negative divergence. And look at this on the oscillator matrix. Gee, we got a little FOMO going on here. Green on green. That's a lot of FOMO, especially at the top, right? All the FOMO was in here, right? So everybody FOMO's in at the top. And then we have UBS and a nuke. How nice. It's never paid to buy anything at the premium zone. This includes gold. It has not paid. I've never seen anything go through the premium zone on a daily chart yet. Now, maybe it's going to go sideways, or maybe they're just totally delusional. That if you have this thing escalate, you have oil spike. I mean, it takes this much of a move. I mean, on tariffs, on just total, right? On total, they whacked this thing down 20%. Now we're talking about nukes and oil, and it's not even moving. Wow, really? Okay, guys. Okay, so the orange man all over Powell. Dumb guy, Trump hater. Doesn't override this total complete moron. Maybe I'll have to change my mind about, okay. Let me ask you something. What is the orange man's state of mind? Let's be human beings for just a moment. Okay? Comes into office, wants to get all his stuff done. I don't know. Let's fund the border. Let's get a peace deal in Eastern Europe. Let's get the big, beautiful bill. Let's get a law and order in Los Angeles. Deportations. Let's get everything I promised. No. Okay? 5 no's equals blank you. Now, when you say blank you to a guy who has this kind of a mugshot, and used to be the pretty boy frontman for the Atlantic City mob back in the day. What's he going to do? He's going to do something drastic. He's like the currency, the currency of life with this kind of mentality, with like the Godfather kind of setup, is respect. You know what? He's not getting any respect. He's not getting any cooperation and any respect. So what do you do when you're not getting respect? You do something wild, or say something wild, which can have unintended consequences in capital markets, whether he does it or he says he's going to do it, whichever. Steve Bannon and Alex Jones did not go to the White House to brief Trump. It was the other way around. Trump briefed them and said, get this rebellion under control because these are the stakes, whatever they are. This is the intel, whatever it is. And more importantly, this is what I may do about it. Iranians say, we don't know if we can trust the Americans anymore. Oh, yes. Come to the table and negotiate. Meanwhile, the Wonder Woman invisible jet with the nuke attached to it is flying overhead. Right? It's like, negotiate or we'll nuke you. Okay. That's excellent. U.S. president, hard to tell the Israelis to stop when they're winning. We don't know who's winning. We really don't. We don't. Right? We know everybody is scared and they've created a stalemate and they want us involved. At least the Israelis do. Right? And we don't know what the Iranians are doing or thinking. We have no idea, to be honest. Now, we know that, in the past, these guys have financed a whole bunch of like big, bad, scary people, right? That don't like us, by the way. So, I'm just trying to be like fair, right? None of these people, these people are all like, hard, bad men. And they're fighting each other. And uncertainty is toxic for markets. And the markets are like, oh, yeah, this is not a problem. Okay. The Cuban Missile Crisis, which is something I wrote about in Patreon Platinum, was 13 days of the biggest scare ever, right? At the end of that movie, JFK and RFK sent their guys home and said, go hug your wife and kid because we don't know how this looks like it could just kaboom. They were afraid at the end. These things don't end without a scare, right? And the scare is the golden opportunity in crypto, which you got to get outside the system. Like everything McAfee ever said, everything I ever said, right? This is happening right before your eyes, right? Uncle Sugar with 37T, banks, nukes. What? Satoshi couldn't have drawn it up any better. If Satoshi had mentioned this in a white paper, you would have laughed at him. Gee, the United Kingdom is getting its embassy staff out of Iran. I wonder what that's about. They left them there the whole time. Israel was launching on them. Now all of a sudden, like, whoa, we better get out of here, man. The orange man has lifted the cover off the button. Right? You've been told. You got told by Tucker. It was obvious before today with the invisible jet and Tucker. And then Alex Jones is just like, yeah, okay, here it is. Meanwhile, back at the constitutional ranch, Congress voted on the first war. Congress voted on Iraq. Congress voted on Afghanistan. Congress wouldn't authorize Syria. They kind of did it anyway. And, let's not pretend that they can do this without authority. So let me get this straight. A guy who's been impeached twice, right? He's been impeached twice, is going to start ongoing bombing runs throughout all of Iran, right? They're going to get the nuclear facility. They're going to get their military. We got four aircraft carriers in the region. 4. Is that for show? Do you need 4? Maybe it is for show. Maybe it's art of the deal. But art of the deal has been art of the enema so far because he's getting that in the wrong, he's just getting that, you know what I'm saying? That's not working out. So I don't know, maybe you got to break out 4 aircraft carriers, but you ain't using them without congressional approval, or you're going to wind up getting in trouble one way or the other. I mean, all these congressmen, it's obvious that, they're all influenced by a particular lobby, but you get us into a full-blown war without some kind of congressional vote. So how do you sort that out? Well, that's the suitcase nuke with the commandos, right? You strap it on to a, I don't know. You strap the tactical nuke onto an Israeli jet. I don't know. And you don't need the B-2 stealth bomber to carry a tactical nuke. You don't need to blow up the entire country. You just need to blow up that little specific area. Perfect way to get around it. And remember, it's definitive. They can drop one bomb. Yeah, but again, Congress has not weighed in on it. So real interesting. And of course, anyone who speaks out against this, is getting hosed. Here's MTG, Marjorie Taylor Greene, the lady everyone loves to hate, the lady that was wearing her MAGA hat when that was way unpopular, is like, yeah, I need to raise money because they're out to get me because I'm not down with this. Like, there is no dissent on this. There's no dissent. None. New York Post, owned by, a dude who's super, pro-Israel, states rogue states, Russia and Iran, are attempting to destroy the Orange Man's MAGA movement with disinformation and a bot army. Last time I looked, Nick Fuentes is not a bot army. That's the guy who is saying the things that are splitting the movement. It's some kid in Illinois. It's not a robot bot army. It's not. Now, of course, the intelligence services of those two countries are no doubt doing everything they can to hurt us. What else is new, right? That's not new news. But again, there are certain commentators who are out there who are firing people up. I mean, this kid Fuentes had like 100,000 people live the day this started. And he's got 150,000 followers on Rumble. And he's on Alex Jones every other day because Alex Jones is having him say all the things that he really can't say, right? If he wants to stay in the loop with the administration or he wants to avoid massive liquidation of his business. There's only certain things he can say. So he's bringing this kid on his platform with 4 million viewers to say it, which is, we don't like this. And frankly, the Orange Man and the people who are keeping the Orange Man out of jail, right? They donated money for this outcome. So that's why things are divided, right? It's because, it's obvious. He took a lot of money from a lot of people to protect him, to get elected, so he wasn't going to jail, because he was going to jail. And he had a $400 million verdict against him in the state of New York. That was costing him $100,000 a day to appeal, which is why you had sneakers, watches, NFTs, World Liberty, and any associated grift that went on with it. Because when you owe $400 million for something that you didn't do, you'd be selling watches too, in fairness to the Orange Man. And you would also be looking to assert yourself as a strong man. It's like, you don't want to respect me. Like, first you want to hunt me down and throw me in jail. Then I get elected, and then you won't let me do what I was here to do. I mean, when you piss a guy like that off, who's put FAFO everywhere, can you blame him? Now, again, where does this lead crypto? Well, there's a scare, which again, we told everybody about on every platform, everywhere. Free show, Patreon's Platinum got the details, right? $88 a month for the heads up on all this, on everything. Toby and that GAN model are ahead of absolutely all of this. So please come join us. Okay, Brian Armstrong, the world needs crypto now more than ever. Debt is growing exponentially. Inflation is crippling nations. Economic freedom is declining. It's time to increase economic freedom globally with crypto. Wow, man, he must watch the show. Wow, check it out. Hey, we finally got the base network up and running. That didn't take long. Holy cow, man. Sitting in my little room here going, crypto, 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 freedom, do it, do it, do it. And all of a sudden, we should really do it. Now that we have a nuke strapped to the Wonder Woman jet. God. But then again, competition, right? Gemini's going public. Kraken's going to go public. Circle's public. Ripple is next. Ripple is going to trade at some stratospheric price. I don't have the articles in here, but somebody wrote an article about just how centralized Ripple is and XRP. Like, Ripple and, one of the top guys, they own like billions of Ripple. Billions. They could never sell that stuff. So if somebody comes in and takes them over, instead of having to do a Michael Saylor and go into the market and buy a huge chunk of the supply, they've already got the huge chunk of the supply by buying Ripple. So if you want some currency to be in your metaverse and you're FOMOing in with tens of billions of dollars, Circle is now worth $48 billion. Ripple tried to buy Circle for $6 billion. Circle went public and is now worth $48 billion on this incredible stablecoin FOMO, which is unbelievable. They're buying Circle. They 500, I don't know, they 500X or, they just, Circle goes up 500%. This is a 5X. And no one touches Ethereum and Solana. The stable coins are going to run on these networks. And no one buys the networks. They bought Circle stock. Now, I'm all about crypto equities, but the whole market has done the wrong trade here because we're all waking up to it. We're on some kind of delay. Like, a flock of them flew over that time. They got giant banks insolvent and $37 trillion in debt and more debt if they start shooting over there. Like the big, beautiful bill becomes not so big, becomes much bigger and not so beautiful if they start shooting over there. Very convenient to have a geopolitical event and law and order in Los Angeles, a disorder problem when you're trying to get funding for all this stuff. How convenient. Okay, so $200 million liquidated in the crypto market because people cannot stop giving their money to the derivatives casinos, right? Everyone's going to get liquidated. Everyone's going to get stopped out. Everyone's going to get short, and then the things are going to go straight up. Straight up. Just I don't know what they're going to print. Like I've seen, I did 99 and I thought I was crazy. I'm like, oh my God, everyone's going to quit. It's going to gap to 120. It's going to go to the moon. I'm an idiot. I can't believe I published that. Now I'm like, okay, well, maybe that's not totally stupid. I've seen 93, which we'll go over on the Bitcoin chart. And oh my God, in some chat room today, I saw 80. I'm like, oh, Jesus. I mean, that would be if it actually goes off or the North Koreans just, cause everyone to freak out. I don't know about that. But I do know that per the Cuban Missile Crisis piece in Patreon Platinum, you are going to see fear before you see gone. And it could occur right around the summer solstice, which we're at right now. Again, check out the GAN reports. Bloomberg raises approval odds for XRP, Doge, and Cardano ETFs to 90%. So again, the pivot is back to crypto. They got to pivot. They got the conservative commentators at the White House figuring, how do we rally the base? The stablecoin bill passes. Bessent wants $4 trillion running on these networks, and they're going to pass all these ETFs just to make everybody happy, to get any kind of distraction, to get any kind of happiness. Solana and XRP have to be next. I mean, I just can't believe they would leak all this information to these betting sites and then not do it. And even if they don't do it now, it just makes it more likely they do it later, which was my argument with the Bitcoin ETF the whole time. They're going to do it. They're going to do it. Gensler was like, no, 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 no. BlackRock weighed the phone call, and then it was yes. Right. Solana, and, if they want to get the stablecoin thing going, they got to get everybody buying Solana and XRP. It seems like a no-brainer. And again, Cardano could be in here. You don't know. right? All it takes is for one state to go, yeah, I want that layer one. Amazing how SEI was bought by World Liberty, I think. They somehow got into World Liberty, and then the state of Wyoming is like, let's use SEI. Wonder how that worked. Yo, man, this is open season in layer ones. The faster, the better. Injective, that's a popular, the GAN machine is like AI agents are going to love Injective. It's open season. Open season layer ones. No one's paying attention. Coinbase regulatory license to offer crypto services all over Europe. Huh. Why do the Europeans all of a sudden want crypto? Right? So the guys who are going to put you behind bars, if you say something on Facebook, all of a sudden want crypto. How did that happen? Phone call from the ECB, maybe? Hey, guys. Yeah. Yeah. You better get crypto going now. Oil goes to 100. Someone's going to blow up. That's why they're talking about cutting rates. Rates are at 0 in Switzerland. UBS has got a problem. This is not complicated. And it's not hidden. It's not. Cynthia. Go Cynthia. Cynthia needed some help. Remember I told you this? And she got help from Bessent. Right? Go Cynthia. Go Bessent. Good for you. Seriously. Somebody working for Uncle Sugar finally did something right. And the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve is potentially the only way out of this, not because Bitcoin's going to go to the moon, because they're going to need to back. And Kennedy said this. Oh my God, my guy, RFKJ at Consensus. I was there. He's like, look, we need to back certain kinds of treasuries with some Bitcoin. Some. I mean, if the guy running Health and Human Services can figure this out, why can't we figure it out? Cynthia's figured it out. Sailor's figured it out. And Bessent's figured it out. And this is going to be the next pivot to get everybody, because the base is all messed up. They got to get the crypto bros back in. That's why if it goes to 99 or 93 to get some stupid down trade on whatever, you got to be down there just taking everything. Because they are going to pivot. And they could pivot the second this thing is over. Right? They either have the Wonder Woman plane drop it, or somebody comes to their senses and go, okay, I'll give up the nuclear program. If you're going to nuke me, I'll give it up. That would make sense, right? Because, if we give it to Netanyahu, he will use it. He will use it. So, again, that leads to a pivot back to crypto. Whether they do it or they don't do it. That rumor, that is going to be everywhere this weekend. Everybody's going to be like, wow, Tucker told us 2 days ago. Yeah, dude, no. Now, this, I hate. Hate this. All these wealthy individuals are making outrageous BTC predictions. 1,445,000, 850,000. I'm okay with that. Okay. This, I'm not okay with. Bitcoin has no top. So if you get the book out and you go, okay, let's get to the bubble chapter. Bubble chapter, right? Bubble book, chapter 1, sentence 1. When they say there's no top or there's no price too high, it's a bubble. Now, Bitcoin isn't a bubble, but when they say there's no top, I'm like, please stop it. Please stop it. Shut up. Love this guy, but please don't talk like that. And when it is, they talk like that and right? No bueno. Right? It may not have a top, but when everyone gets too complacent, you can blow people out. When everyone knows it's going up, and it is going up, that part is obvious. When it's obvious that it's going up, the only way it goes up is if they get everybody out before that. Right? This is what happens, right? Stop fishing exercise. You don't think BlackRock or some character like that would take advantage of a wacko geopolitical situation to smash this thing down? Like spot buying has dried up. I don't have that slide. Spot buying somehow dried up. Short-term holders stop buying it. You got a very illiquid, thin market. And if it's illiquid and thin in Bitcoin, can you imagine alts? Not to mention the fact that, first of all, it's a failed rally today. Right? Overnight, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I said 99K. What an idiot. Then it failed. right? So you got a failed rally, and Solana and ETH should be going to the absolute moon on this stablecoin thing, and they're not moving. So if it's supposed to go up and it does it, what might happen? All I'm suggesting is you could wind up getting the gift dip of a lifetime. Look at this. Bessent wants 3.7 T running on stablecoin networks. That's 15x larger than current stablecoins. A 15x rise results in exponential growth on the ETH network. USDC represents 30% of ETH network fees. Ethereum is a direct benefit of the Genius Act. ETH is at 2,500 and it's down 5% today. That's insane. That's crazy, right? So if they do smack ETH for a day, 2 days, I don't know. I don't know how many days. I just don't, right? I mean, maybe they're just getting all the nuke talk out today. Then they'll come out tomorrow and say, just kidding, we're not doing it. Who knows? Right? All I know is if they give you a dip, especially if it's an extended dip to like 101 in Bitcoin maybe, or whatever it is in the, the bigger cryptos, they have made it perfectly clear they want the whole world running on crypto. And it's a question of time when all these stable coins start hitting the market, where are they going to get yield on the stable coins? They're going into the DeFi platforms, or they're going into tokenized treasuries. Real world assets? When was the last time you heard anybody talking about real world assets? Nobody, right? Banks do stable coins, and then banks go straight into DeFi. Can you imagine all these big banks to, protect their capital going into the DeFi system all at once? You got to be kidding me. ETH, Sky, formerly Maker, right? All of these layer ones. Like, again, they got to go into DeFi, and stable coins are going to be running on the layer ones, and they're selling it all today. Crazy. The bullish cows are out there, and they're selling, which is so crypto. Oh, I want it to go up. I want my bags to move. I want it to go up. They give you the news and they sell it. Now, I understand why they're selling it, but it's crazy. It's crazy. Like, what are you going to sell this thing for? A day, 3 days, a week, maybe? Okay. All you need is one big panic trade like the Cuban Missile Crisis, and it's over. When the Cuban Missile Crisis was over, stock market went, well, you know what? You got to look at the report. Crazy if you don't look at the report. Okay, so Bitcoin cools, Bitcoin Cash and forks on fire. Okay, so I love me some Roger Ver meme coin in Bitcoin Cash. Love it. Can't stop loving it. But whenever those coins outperform, the market goes down. And what do you know? Bitcoin Cash goes to 500, the market goes down. I hate that, but it's obvious. Not to mention the fact that somebody, instead of using the Bitcoin network, decided to use the Bitcoin Cash network because it was faster, maybe less scrutiny, maybe less obvious. I don't know. Somebody's moving money around with Monero and Bitcoin Cash. Monero went up before this started, and Bitcoin Cash was mooning when it was happening. And nobody knows why Bitcoin Cash was moving. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Maybe he's going to pardon Roger Ver. God, wouldn't that be awesome? Okay, Circle started at buy at Seaport Securities. So I didn't want any at 30, but at $235 a share, it's much more attractive for investment banks. You got to be kidding me. Why do you think BlackRock bought like 20% of the IPO? Okay, but again, everyone is trading Circle stock when they should be trading the layer ones that USDC is going to run on. USDC is running on XRPL, and XRP doesn't move. That's crazy. Ripple is a massive takeover target. Massive. Matter of fact, I would be surprised if Circle flips around with what that stock did and wants to take over Ripple. Wyoming Stable Token Commission names Aptos. Sorry, I thought it was SEI. What do you know? Aptos, made by former Meta employees. The odds of approval before the end of 2025 on the Bloomberg terminal. Litecoin, 95%. Right? Doge, Cardano, Polkadot, Hedera. Wow, Polkadot, huh? Think they want to get securities? And Polkadot, massive transaction throughput at like basically no cost, right? The blockchain that you can connect all these other blockchains to. Parachains. Anybody remember that? They want it. They want it. They want it. Bitcoin is an asset. Solana is infrastructure. Solana down 5% today, right? Ethereum succeeded by exploiting Bitcoin's resistance to programmability. Solana succeeded Ethereum because of, exploited devotion to home stakers. Hyperliquid is succeeding by exploiting Solana's unwillingness to specialize. So you could have musical layer ones like 2021 again. They could get after all this stuff. They could get after SUI, SEI, Aptos. Remember that? Remember that trade in 2024? Right? And there's a whole host of mid-cap layer ones that, again, we discussed in the latest YouTube member podcast. So you want to know the hot layer ones from the GAN model and Lunar Crush together? Well, you know where to go. You know where to go. Fun fact about hodling, Dodge founder sold all of his Dogecoin to buy a 2015 Honda Civic, and now Doge is worth more than the whole Honda company. Everybody who says, like, I wish I could have bought Bitcoin at 100. Now, of course, they're forgetting about the 90% declines, but there's stuff out there that is, it's obvious. Bitcoin back in the day, especially if you lived through 2008, I didn't understand it at the time, but, once I figured it out in 2017, I'm like, oh my God, this is obvious. The obvious trade is here. The nuke is obvious. The layer ones are obvious. The stablecoin trade is obvious. Everyone's just doing it the wrong way. And I always say this, the first trade is always wrong. So let's buy the Circle IPO. Okay, let's buy the Circle IPO at 30. Now the investment banks are like, yeah, let's buy it at 185 at a price earnings ratio of 1,750. Okay. How about we buy XRP instead? You know what I'm saying? It's crazy banana pants. Semler Scientific wants more Bitcoin. Okay. Archman takes profits on stable coins. Say it's like hold the top on Trump, bought the low on stable coins, unload. Too bad you can't get political points for trading. Bitcoin falls below 103K. Okay, $450 million in liquidations. When will they ever learn? They won't. Okay, random medical company wants Bitcoin. Everybody with a crappy business model wants, okay, Arizona. Every state's going to do this. Peter Schiff says, let's get a USD-backed stablecoin. Let's get a gold-backed stablecoin instead. Now, gold-backed stablecoins are difficult because it carries a fee, because you have to pay money to store the, but again, stablecoin this, stablecoin that. Great trade. Everyone's doing the wrong trade. Everyone's doing the wrong trade. When this layer one thing gets going again, I mean, you're going to have alt season led by layer one. Everyone thinks it's Solana summer. It is, but it could be layer one summer because everybody is going to pick their favorite layer one. And then you're going to have somebody going interoperability and cross-chain and connecting all this stuff. This is not priced in. Absolutely not. Now, I used to work with this guy, and I mean, it was a true, in some sense, wonderful, humbling experience to work with all these really smart people. We used to be on this one webinar together once a week. This guy clicked on the wrong link as a crypto VC and lost everything. Right? Loved this guy. Loved it. Mehdi. Right? But it winds up on the clock news. Okay. 16 billion passwords. This is the Iranians and the North Koreans. Crypto under attack in France. That's the deep state. Texas sheriffs this scam with old people where they're trying to get you on like DMV, lawsuits, ticket violations. They're calling people up. They're saying we're from the police. You have 24 hours to get down. You have to pay your fine at a convenience store, or there's going to be massive referrals to the DA, and people are just feeding money. They're like, well, that's not enough. They just keep feeding money into a Bitcoin ATM, and they have no idea what it is, right? And Texas law enforcement's like, yeah, okay, we're going to pry this thing open and get old people their money back. That's how bad it is. That's how, the rumor has it that they're sending ledger phishing information through the actual mail. CoinMarketCap has been hacked. We're seeing a pattern here, right? Right? Like, we'll nuke you and we'll hack you. And this is all going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. People could be selling crypto because I don't want to get hacked. I'm just going to sell. I mean, it's not unreasonable. North Korean hackers are just all after. If you're famous, they're after you. They're after you. Don't click on anything. Just log off. Crypto's true revolution is about humanity, not technology. Wow, they must watch the show, right? Get outside the system. Be free. McAfee. It's like, if you go to a 9 to 5, you're not free. If you're miserable, you're not free. Life is a mystery. Embrace crypto. Be free. Shoot your shot. They hit this thing on whatever, take it from them. Because you can bet that the one thing that they're scared of, well, I'm not going to tell you the one thing that they want, because that's in the YouTube member podcast on an Oscar-winning Toby rant, which is a must-see. AI money rush could reshape digital asset industry. They must watch the show. All this AI FOMO has to result in some sort of decentralized counter. Either someone's going to FOMO into the decentralized universe, or the decentralized universe is going to capture some of all this money that's floating around. They're looking to buy anything that gives them an advantage, anything. That's Ripple. That could be decentralized protocols. It could be Fetch. It could be Tau. They're just after anything they can get their hands on. Now, that's probably a top in equities because those stocks are ridiculous, seemingly, or they FOMO, or somebody FOMOs into the decentralized AI universe, or an agent starts using DeFi. So you have a massive proliferation of stable coins and AI agents who know how to use DeFi. And they're selling crypto today. I mean, I know why they're selling crypto today, but it's ridiculous. U.S. crypto ETF approval, right? SEI up 15% today after being selected as a candidate network for Wyoming. Hello. It's not the only layer one out there that can run stablecoins, right? There's a lot of new, faster ones. New York, Pub Key, Bitcoin Bar with Orange Pill, Washington. Yeah, okay. Stay out of bars with rich people with crypto. The gangsters are waiting outside. I would prefer GameStop getting you set up with, like, I don't know, something simple where like Joe Public can go in. Like rich crypto people hanging out at a bar. No. Crypto perpetual futures gain momentum in the United States. Fantastic. More ways to lose money thanks to Coinbase. Let's get everybody getting long spot fast so that if Bitcoin becomes the thing that you need in 20 years, you have it. BlackRock scoops up 3% of Bitcoin. No. Right. I don't know if they got enough Bitcoin to suppress it through the options market. I don't know. But they're not going to be able to keep it suppressed for long. And they also know about the dollar and the banks, and they know about all the things that I'm telling you about. They knew about a long time ago. It's obvious. Anybody with gray hair who lived through any crisis knows full well what could happen here. And even if it doesn't happen, people just have to slowly port themselves over to the new system. It's either going to the new system slowly or quickly, gradually, then suddenly. Okay, so Justin's son got himself in with the orange man, which actually a real smart move. Bought the meme coin, invested in World Liberty. Now all of a sudden, Tron is going public. Wowza. Justin's son probably couldn't walk into the front door of an investment bank. Now he's waltzing in with the orange man's people. No transaction costs. Wow, it's the Solana killer now, really, according to Psyop Man. Giant Psyop, counter trading himself somewhere else, getting famous for losing money and not losing money with 379,000 followers. What am I doing wrong? Tron flips Doge. Hello. It's a layer one. It's anyone's game. The orange man tells somebody to run stablecoins on that network. Guess what? They're running stablecoins on that network. And of course, we're all selling today, right? It's the absurdity of it all is unbelievable. Now, I told you why they were selling, and that's basically sovereigns behaving badly. Okay, oil. Not a lot going on. This is U.S. oil, but it's on top of support, right? It's on top of support for the moment. So if you have one burst to 80 or 90, that freaks people out. Is that going to happen? I don't know. Okay, I showed you the chart in equities. It's totally absurd. You have every single DeMark topping signal you could imagine here, right? The 13 top, the 9 top, and a failed rally on top of that. So you could have at least 4 down days in stocks, right? 4 down days in stocks gives you your crypto decline, or they do crypto over the weekend, then they do stonks on Monday or Tuesday, then you just take what they have, right? Let it all open Sunday night, let everyone freak out and be like, okay, thank you very much. I'll take Bitcoin at 100. Okay, here's ETH. So here comes the 9 bottom, right? Very nice. And of course, you know, little rubber glove check, get everyone out, run it through the stops. I did not think that they were going to run it through the stops. This looks perfect to me. And then boom, right? Get everybody out. It's sucks, but it's classic. XRP, the same thing, right? Nice support, 9 bottom, looks great. Boom. Right. But note how there's people down there buying it. I mean, Ripple is going to get bought. That's in the platinum area too, with an XRP price target, which I'm not telling you about. Right. Solana, boom. Take out the support. The thing about Solana is, you know, you could have 5 more days of this, but they're gliding into support at 130. In the event that actually even occurs. You know, you don't know yet. You don't know yet. But again, if they give that to you, that's Christmas. No matter how bad it is. I mean, look, if something definitive happened over there, whether they make peace, it fizzles out, they go away and play nice, the Wonder Woman invisible jet spooks everybody to make it nice. Okay. It's done. Matter of fact, people may come to the conclusion that the fact that he wanted 2 weeks, I mean, the fact that he wanted 2 weeks either means one of 2 things. He's giving people 2 weeks to clear out all the people before he does it, or he just wants it to fizzle out. He doesn't do it on Sunday, and it's taco, Trump chickens out, and, you know, Air Force One is orange chicken. I'm sorry, is Panda Express because it has orange chicken. So whichever it is, whether he does it or he doesn't do it, crypto goes up. Just a question of what the flush looks like beforehand. This, to me, looks like a giant stop fishing exercise, right? Total crypto market cap is on support. Total crypto market cap has got a huge floor underneath it. So how far can they really take this down? How far can they take this? Right? Now, of course, fair enough, Bitcoin itself is at the premium zone. So, you know, it would be glorious to get a flash dip in Bitcoin. Like 93 is equilibrium. A lot of times something will go to the premium zone and then it'll go to equilibrium. You know, are you going to make a living calling for 93K? I mean, I wasn't even comfortable calling for 99. I was comfortable calling for a dip, but I was like, oh my God, sub 100 Bitcoin. You really want to go there? The only way that happens is if you got a security risk or you got a stonk shock, right? If you have what's called a VAR shock, that's legacy terms for like a risk management problem inside funds, because there's a shock in one market and these models tell them to sell indiscriminately in other markets. That's the only way you get Bitcoin sub 100, is if you just get beep, sell off some wacko move, which again, I can't, you've been told there could be a wacko move, which again is why crypto is down. If you don't get the wacko event or nothing happens, then everyone's going to ask themselves, why are we selling crypto right into support? Right into support. Right? So yeah, the news is terrible. Everything looks horrible. Excellent. They're going to dump it right into support. They're going to run all the stops on the intraday charts for 1, 3, or 5 days, or 1, 3, or 5 hours. I don't know. These things I don't know. If I knew these things, we could have this show on my yacht. Other than that, I don't have anything to say about the market. Let's see what we got on ETH and Solana. I just can't believe. I mean, somehow they managed to kind of like almost break this chart. I mean, LuxAlgo's inserting resistance above the decline. Oh my God. Right? They're pressing this support point over here. They're washing out all these people. Oh, brutal. Brutal stop loss running. North Koreans hacking everybody. Stops getting run. Everyone's afraid. Fear, greed will go to 40. I can't believe they took ETH back below the 200-day moving average. Talk about running stops. But again, total crypto market cap is in the support. So it looks like a stop fishing exercise. It really does. And XRP is holding the 200-day moving average. I can't believe with the valuation of Circle that anyone's selling XRP at all. XRP should be at $4 based on the Circle valuation alone. That's it. I mean, they have a layer 1, they have XRP, and they have a stablecoin program, and have a company with 1,000 people. You got to be kidding me. I mean, yeah, Circle is a good company. Okay, they have USDC. Okay, that can be a stablecoin and a central bank digital currency all in one. Okay, great. So Silicon Valley is going to FOMO in and take over Ripple, because anybody who misses the stablecoin boat is hosed. The states are going to do it. The federal government's going to do it. They're doing it. They're not going to do it. They're doing it. Bessent's like, pass the law. We want 4T running on this network yesterday. And we're selling. Okay. Are crypto investors really ready for the golden dip opportunity? Could 2025 unleash crypto's next shocking black swan? They're bringing it right to you, which will be followed by altcoin summer. Layer 1 summer. The YouTube member area. With all these stylish thumbnails, how could you resist? Okay. Thank you to our members, Platinum, the Spartans of Patreon. Guys are all set up, all good to go. That is the market update. We will see you soon.